Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome to your very own Try It Before You Bite channel with your host Karamullah Kadwani. Today is going to be all about producer Michael from the house of Fragrance du Bois. But before we do that, if this is the first time you're tuning into my channel or still haven't subscribed but enjoy fragrance reviews, price points and alternatives where possible, in my humble opinion, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notifications bell so you don't miss another video. Producer Michael, coined as PM by Fragrance du Bois, is an oriental woody fragrance for men and women. This is a relatively newer fragrance. PM was launched in 2022. The nose behind this fragrance is Shadi Samra. Notes as per Fragrance du Bois: top notes tuberose, secret florals exclusive to Fragrance du Bois, juniper berry, cardamom and menthol lemon. Middle notes Indonesian patchouli, Italian leather, cedar woods and orris root. Base notes of labdanum, woody notes, benzoin and amber. Real name for producer Michael is Michael Blakey. His passion for fragrances started at a rather unusual age of 6 when he used to borrow his father's fragrances, and his father gifted him his first ever fragrance at the same age, which was Peter Sylvester, way back in the day. To say the least, producer Michael is a world-renowned music producer turned YouTube sensation. Going on to ask him if and when he started and could differentiate between luxury niche and department store designer fragrances, to which he said they feel cheap. Doesn't want it to come off as being rude, but the way he explains it is cheap is expensive because you end up using way more than you would with luxury niche. Since he enjoys the smell of a luxury car, he says, has an aroma like no other. It's a mixture of leather, woods and other components of the car. And he goes on to explain that it is not the smell of the interior of a newer car, rather kind of aged leather, woods, kind of the smell that you get from a luxury automobile. He went through several iterations as he's never made a fragrance before. It's difficult, he goes on to say, to explain to someone. It's like the feeling of being hungry. You can't really explain it to someone. The way I see it, with the example, is probably chocolate. I mean, I can tell you how good or bad it smells or tastes, but you'd never really know until and unless you actually eat that chocolate or put it in your mouth. So also a best way to describe it is in a manner where we reviewers or in our humble opinions try to bring you the experience of wearing a fragrance, but that's more of an overview. No matter the depth of the review, it's definitely something else smelling the actual fragrance. He says he did not have a brief, but was rather able to communicate to Fragrance du Bois the kind of the scents he likes, or like he gave an example of the luxury automobile, the kind of the smells he loved to smell. And after several iterations, Fragrance du Bois were able to release producer Michael. They also later went on to release AM off the record, because that is not what we are discussing in this video, perhaps for another day. The way I see it is producer Michael, the abbreviations PM for the parfum that I will show you in a bit, or rather I can show it to you now because we are done with the presentation. This is what the bottle looks like with the plaque up front, and it has its abbreviations PM all over the bottle, and that's what the fragrance is named. PM is more of an evening wear, and AM for the daytime, less cloying, less intense of an experience, I suppose. So when I asked what are the smells he likes, he went on to say some trees and certain flowers. Not all, but definitely the smell of jet fuel being burnt. It's got a crisp-like feel, he says. May sound strange, but that's what he likes. He's been collecting fragrances for long before getting acquainted with Fragrance du Bois. He's a watch collector, a car collector. That's just some of the things he's into. He discovered Fragrance du Bois when they sent him a message on email after watching his closet video, asking him if he smelt any of their fragrances. So he received the bottles and was amazed with what they had in store. Now he has all the bottles. So they discussed the possibility of a collab, and he's very happy with the outcome. Just happened and everything came around full circle. Wasn't planned at all. Another one he likes is Sahara, also one of my personal favorites, and I think the most expensive fragrance in the line, in the echelon line of Fragrance du Bois, which we shall discuss in the upcoming reviews. The inspiration was something very luxurious and special that will last for a long time. He wanted something that will last longer than a day. I spray off the perfume and it lasts for weeks on garments, fabrics. It is a leathery tuberose, if you ask me for a gist. He provided them with 8 different fragrances that he so loves, telling them that this would be the basic gist of what he likes, and asked them to add certain facets like adding oud, etc. As he doesn't know what real oud smells like, and they delivered. It was a great experience to work with the perfumer, Shadi Samra, and did not less than 50 iterations, getting down to just 4 or 5 specimens. He spent a week with every one of them, not asking anyone or referring to anyone for a feedback. But the one they finally released, everybody complimented him on earlier, or that's the one that generated the most intrigue amongst circles he frequented. So he'd wear these iterations and he'd just walk into his probably meetings or friends or dinner or lunch, and the one that kind of intrigued the people the most, or the people complimented him or asked him in awe, like what was he wearing, is the one they finally released. Yeah, so more like something memorable where people stopped him to ask him what he was wearing. He did not disclose what the ingredients are, as the brand is very secretive about it, which he fully understands, and we can appreciate that. As per my nose, it's spicy and has ambery undertones. He contributed to the design work and packaging, where they incorporated a full carbon fiber box, as I've shown you in the intro for the video. The red has his logos and gold accents to signify luxury. Let me show you the box kind of up close and personal. I do want to kind of bring this box to you. It is super luxurious. It has this carbon fiber weave, and this is real carbon fiber. I don't know if you can tell it from the video or from but I'm trying to best, yeah, that is the carbon fiber weave, and the whole box is kind of a real carbon fiber with the gold accents. It is stupendously neat. I mean, I really got the perfume for not just the perfume, but the presentation itself. So I love carbon fiber because I do like cars, I like my bikes, and I do have a lot of carbon fiber parts installed on my bikes and cars and trucks and etc. I don't have a bike anymore. We sold it off when times got hard, alhamdulillah. But whenever I do, it's one of the first things that I all for. Carbon fiber, I love that material. It is a very strong and long lasting scent, but not overwhelming. It's not overcloying. It'll stay with you even after a shower. Shadi also goes out to say that he's the proudest from this release of all the fragrances he's created so far. Producer Michael's fits are tailor-made as well and is very attentive to detail. Asking him what fragrances he wears or if he matches his attires to the fragrances, he says he only wears the one that he's created for now. Before he'd layer and mix and match, not anymore. He loves his line of fragrances and that's what he wears on a daily. He's passionate about cars, but more so about watches. Those are the insights of Michael Blakey. And now for a quick in-depth overview. Only comes in 100 ml parfum concentration. So what is this fragrance all about? To me, it's very woody and very, very leathery. As soon as you spray the fragrance, you have a floral experience. A fusion of tuberose and jasmine up top are running the show. Though they have mentioned secret blend of florals, I get jasmine straight off the bat. Menthol lemon up top, as mentioned, and cardamom with the pungent spiciness. Once the top notes settle, which is pretty quick earlier on in the journey, you start getting a muskiness and an animalic leather that intensifies over time. The tuberose remains throughout the fragrance. There's lots of leather, and if you couldn't already tell with the smile on my face, this is one of my favorite leather fragrances, perhaps one of my favorite animalic leather fragrances. Just a side note, this is perhaps, because of the ambery facets, more wearable than Alcout from the House of Electimus, London, which happens to be insanely more animalic than this one. The civet really pops through, shines, and this is perhaps more wearable of the two if I was to make a comparison. It could have been overwhelming, but the top notes balance off the intensity of the animalic leather, which is so important with this composition. Very masculine leaning though. It doesn't smell like any other leather, though you can't really compare it to anything. For me, it may remind you of Coium from Orto Parisi or Alcout by the House of Electimus, London, which is a boutique exclusive and was specially created to celebrate the National Day for Kuwait, and therefore has its flag colors. But those, I suppose, are more intense animalic wearing experiences. Those may not be for everyone. Here, with the balance coming in, pretty much adds interest to the fragrance. Expensive smelling and perhaps more appealing than the aforementioned. Jasmine with its indolic animalic qualities also may be adding to the animalic undertones of the leather, but in the heart you experience an earthy woodiness with the patchouli further grounding it and rounding it off. A little powdery too, with more woods. The benzoin and amber creating an ambery sweetness and a layer of smokiness with the labdanum, taking it into an ambery dry down. It is a very, very delicious fragrance. Tuberose and leather are king. Jasmine not far behind. Cardamom adding spiciness. Very, very luxurious and expensive smelling, if I haven't already said that several times before. It's a very long-lasting fragrance, where it's very complex with layers upon layers upon layers of notes adding to the longevity. Projection and sillage is off the charts and has an insane amount of staying power, i.e. longevity. Addictive with that musky animalic leather, where it's great and you want to smell it more and more. Perfect for the winters. Don't need a lot of sprays as it's an intense wearing experience. I'd spray it between 9 to 12, maybe more. But the general user may get away with just 2. I'm definitely an oversprayer. It's a breath of fresh air with all leathers trying to catch up with Tuscan leather. Present day Tuscan leather, it's 15 years it's released, get over it. Feels more old school, insanely intense and of utmost quality. I'll wind it up, though there's just so much to say about this one. Just my 2 cents. Do let me know your thoughts. Also let me know if you already have this underrated gem of a composition in your arsenal, or if you're interested in at least giving it a try after watching the review. Do give me a thumbs up. If you take anything of value from this, do share your experiences and don't forget to comment. Keep your smelling game on. Feel free to ask me any questions and I'll try to answer them to the best of my capabilities. Until the next time, your host Karamullah Kadwani signing out.